Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone doing today? Hope you're feeling great. Happy Wednesday. If you are tuning in, definitely drop in the comments, say a hello, say a good morning, or say a greeting from wherever you might be in the world. My name is Nana Badu, in case y'all are just joining for the first time. And I am a stylist, I'm a speaker, I'm an image consultant, I'm a coach, and I am all about helping women of color who are leaders and just really ready to step out from hiding to step into being more seen through bold and authentic style. And so today we are talking all about the vibe that your wardrobe is giving. And the question on the table is it giving a senior executive or junior analyst? Okay. And no shade to the junior analysts, okay? We all were there once upon a time in our career, right? But really, what this question is getting at is what kind of confidence level is your style exuding, right? What kind of confidence level is your style exuding? And, I bring this up because I know that in my own personal journey, um, for those who don't know, if you don't know my path and how I got to where I am, pull up. I'm going to break it down for a second, right? But when I entered into the workspace and had my first job, I was working in management consulting and it was at an IT company. And I had always I saw my mother go to work and be dressed. So I knew, like, okay, when you go to work, like, you get dressed and you go to work, right? There's definitely a change in your wardrobe and a change in your energy when you do that versus when you are on the weekends hanging out, etc. So I I saw an example of that, like gravitas and that just that, like, that polish and that presence of a working woman. I saw that through my mom. And so I definitely had that example for myself heading into my first job. And I knew right off the bat that I wanted to make a great impression, right? And I wanted to seek out some leadership positions. I was just like, let's go. Let's go. I'm hungry. I want to learn. Let's do it. Okay. And I was definitely very intentional about what I wore when I went to work. And my clients were in the government, like my clients were Department of Defense, Department of Energy, Department of Education. And so I was going into a lot of these corporate buildings. I think last week, I don't know if it was Portia, you had said this. Last week we were talking about the brown carpets and gray walls of the government space. Or maybe someone else had wrote this. But it was definitely that. Great people, great energy, but the actual look and feel of the spaces, whoo, child, right? And so I made it a point to definitely showcase my talents and my abilities, by being really confident in myself in terms of what I wore and making sure there was an element of my outfit that stood out, that was different and unique from other people. I made it, and I was intentional about how I communicated. I was very sure of myself. If I made a recommendation or shared an idea, I did it from a position of having conviction in that idea or thought. And I was also intentional about my mannerisms and my behaviors and how I spoke without saying things verbally, right? I did my best to not have mannerisms like, sometimes when you're nervous, you could bite your nails. I'm a hand talker. Sometimes you're gonna get all the fingernails, right? And so I was trying to be conscious and aware of those things. I made note of the ways in which others were presenting themselves, both those who were in leadership and those who were my peers, and also other analysts. I think actually other consultants, I should say. That was like the entry level role there. And notice differences. People that use ums and ahs a lot, people who said like a lot when they spoke. I'm like, this is like, you already know, I'm going to hit it because it was just like, as soon as I heard it, it was like in my head. Like, this is a good idea. Like, well, it just minimizes the impact of the message. But that's a whole other day on communications. But I was very observant of people and how they presented themselves and what impressions that I had of them. What did I think of this person? Was this a leader that I respected and was like, oh my gosh, I really want to get on that person's team. I really want to work on a project with them because I think I could learn a lot from them. There were other leaders that I would look at and I was like, staying clear. Like, there's just something about them. They don't seem like they're together. They kind of seem all over the place. It's not my vibe, right? And so I'm saying all this to say that as you are thinking about your style, and like we said off top, your confidence about how you present yourself, you need to be observant about what and how others are doing it in the space. And you need to peep game. All right. You need to peep game to the folks who you see enter rooms and everybody swivels their head and says, okay, what is this person about to say? Right. The people that just command attention, that have a lasting impression. Right. What is it about them? How are they moving? How are they talking? What are they wearing? What is different and unique about the way in which they're presenting their image versus others? So if you're not doing this already, especially if you are at an entry level position or even anywhere from there to a management level position, you gotta peep game. Find the individuals within your company and do not be restricted by your particular department or area. Branch out. All right. Find individuals who are in executive and leadership positions and observe them. Observe them in meetings. Pay attention to what they are wearing and how they show up every day. Right? Like you got to get observant, okay? Because sometimes you can get so caught in the work every day of just like going in and like, who's selling the most or, who's getting praise from a client, et cetera, et cetera. That's part of performance and that's very important. Also, there are other areas around your image that you want to take into consideration. And one of the things that I talk about all the time are the ABCDs of image. And that's your appearance, behavior, communication, and your digital presence. So in this particular instance, we're going to talk a lot about the ABCs, appearance, behavior, and communication. And I was just breaking a few of those elements down in terms of what you want to be observing about people who are in executive and leadership positions that you are inspired, who you are inspired by. All right. Because if they ain't inspiring you, you're aware of them, but you're not going to give energy and effort and intention into them. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference, right? So, and again, this is especially for my folks who are entry level, junior management level positions, because you want to see and find examples of people who are demonstrating that kind of savviness, that kind of swag, that kind of confidence, that kind of conviction, that kind of presence that you desire, that you are, again, it's like it's relatable and aspirational, right? Like you can relate to it, but you're also like, man, the way she just came in here and got the entire meeting together, because that thing was off its rail, got us back on track. And now everybody has very clear directions about what to do next to get us to the goal. I need some of that. And she looks sharp doing it. Dang. Right? Like, hopefully you have these people in your workplace that you can refer to. Okay, talk about it. Like, that's a great segue, Portia, right? Just talking about how you had that senior vice president at one of your old jobs. She always wore classic looks. Everything looked expensive, and she stayed on vacation. Oh, yes. This about what she's doing that is all the way right. All right. So you want to be paying attention to what people are doing who are at those executive level roles. All right. Because listen, you ain't trying to be staying in on the entry level. All right. You ain't trying to be there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Nah, you want to get promoted. All right. You want to get some more visibility. Okay. You want to have your strategy in place, whether you want to exit in a few years or whether you want to climb all the way to the top. Right? Like let's understand what the goals are. So you're going to peep game around what your peers are doing because you're like, yeah, okay, how am I going to differentiate myself? Right? But you're looking over and up and all of the other ways to find people who are just on and on point. All right. So the big core of what I've seen in especially women who are in senior leadership and executive roles when it comes to their wardrobe and their presence, because you can't, one is not without the other. All right, it's totally locked and stepped. Like your wardrobe contributes to an overall presence of confidence. It is an overall presence of confidence that you exude. Okay, your wardrobe is simply supportive of that and an illustration of that. So these women are confident in their style for a few things. A couple of things, very basic and straightforward, right? One, off top, they know what works well for their body shape and what fits well. They know this. They understand this through and through. All right. And I've talked about this on end because like in the work that I do as a stylist, how can you not? Because getting things to fit right on your body is always a space that so many women struggle with. And what I find most is that I find more of this is that women will wear things that are just a little too tight. It's just a little too tight. And the reason is it's oftentimes that you just have not made that difficult decision to purchase things in the size that is right for your body where it is today. And you're still holding on to things that are old, that do not fit you anymore. And some of your rationale around that might be, but I spent so much money on that, Nana. Oh my gosh, I can't let them clothes go. Yes, you can. Yes, you will. Because guess what? You spent money on it and you wore it a lot. It served its purpose. Now you need to get something new that fits you well in the body you're in today. Are you tracking? Are you feeling me? Okay. Like that is such an important element. You have to dress for your body today and get that fit right. And women who are in senior leadership positions, again, the women who are in senior leadership positions who you see and you are inspired by because they have that confidence and conviction. Because there are plenty who don't. We ain't talking about them. We ain't talking about them. All right. We're talking about the women who you look at and you get inspired by their sheer presence and their ability to do their job, execute, gather all the people. Okay. And that fit is first and foremost one of the most important things. And 100%, Portia, like, I cannot stress enough the importance of a tailor. Y'all, you're going to see the themes and the messages that I'm kicking every week, because these are just the keys. These are the keys to getting your style on point and giving off that senior executive leadership vibe. Okay. You must get your pieces tailored. All right. It might be simple things, like just small tweaks makes all the difference in the world. All right. Like if you are wearing dresses and you are petite, short in height. All right. So this is for my fellow 5'4" and under folks. Okay. Right. And you might even be in that 5'5" space too, depending on how your body is built. But if you're wearing your dresses really long and you really like to wear flats all the time, guess what, sis? You need to take the hem up on that dress. All right. It may be too long and it makes you look even shorter than what you are. And that is definitely having people mistaking you for being an entry level analyst when really you're the senior leader on the account. That part. Okay. So you have to have a very deep understanding and a very clear knowledge about your body shape and how you need to tweak your clothing and style your clothing to fit it. Women in senior leadership positions, they get this, okay? Again, with the gravitas already in place, they understand this, all right? And they always have that tailor on deck. So if you don't have a tailor, a quick Google search, a quick Yelp search, find one in your area. Like, find one. That tailor can also be at your dry cleaners. All right. If you take your pieces to get dry cleaned, so like 9 times out of 10, there is somebody there who does alterations for clothing. All right. So I encourage you to just take 1 or 2 things there to try out. Right. It's very easy to take like some pants that might need to be hemmed because they might be too long. Right. Or again, that skirt that needs to be hemmed that's too long. Or perhaps you have sleeves on your jacket that are too long. Okay. They're approaching the knuckles and it's a little too long, sweetie. It's looking oversized. It's looking too big, not oversized. There's a difference there. Okay. And so if you have pieces like that, you need to shorten the length of the jacket. You just need to shorten it to bring it closer to your wrist. Okay. So these are quick things that a tailor can easily do for you. And you can invest 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks and take a piece from looking too big, ill-fitting, to being on point. Okay. So I think a lot of times people think that, in order to have the presence of leadership, I have to be rich. I have to be wealthy. And so when I get there, right, when I get that job and then I get that money, well, that's when I'm going to change my wardrobe and it's going to be fabulous, right? I hear you. Also, you need to start embracing and adopting the habits of the position you want now. You need to start embracing the habits of the position you want now, right? Whatever it is you desire, you can't wait till it arrives. And then all of a sudden you're like, yes, now I'm going to do all the things. That's not how it works. You need to start putting that in place. Okay. I can speak firsthand. Like when I was working in corporate, I was working in this IT company. Like I brought it. I was like, y'all gonna know my name. Like you're gonna see me in these rooms. You're gonna hear my opinion. You're like, I'm going to be volunteering. I'm going to be going above and beyond. And absolutely, I was on the leadership track. Like within the first year or two that I started at the company. And matter of fact, I didn't even know I was on the leadership track. Like that was a problem that I didn't know that. Somebody else had to tell me. But that was shared with me that like, oh yeah, you're on a leadership track and da da da. And I was like, what firewall do you have access to that you're looking behind with all of this information? But I know that the reason that contributed to me being on that leadership track wasn't solely my performance with my clients. All right. I know 100% I had strong communication skills. Like I was able to have great conversations with people in leadership positions, right? Whether they were the director of the of the particular department that we were serving, whether they were a general, whether it didn't matter. It didn't matter. I was able to come to the table and communicate and present ideas and thoughts in a way that was cogent, that was cohesive, and was just on point. you know like that's it. You got to step into the identity of the woman you want to be. 100% Portia. Okay, like this is what's required of you. So it's a total package deal. That's why I think that element of the ABCs, the appearance of behavior and communications, like you really want to understand how they're all coming together for yourself, right? And so one easy and simple thing that you can do is you can do a simple stoplight assessment for yourself. Red, yellow, and green. Take a look at your appearance. And this is something you could do right now, right? Like immediately, instinctually. How do you feel like your appearance is? Is it green and you're like, I got it. My wardrobe's on point, like accessories, I have my tailor, it's popping. Is it yellow where you're like, you know what? I need some help because I am thinking about that promotion and I know everything is not all the way tight like that it needs to be. Things aren't fitting as well. Like I haven't updated my wardrobe in so long. I need some help. It's not giving the vibe of an executive, right? Or is it completely red where you're like, nothing fits in my closet? Like people constantly mistaking me for the note taker in a meeting, or constantly thinking I'm the intern and I'm not. That's a problem. Okay. So you want to go through your appearance in terms of your wardrobe. Focus on your wardrobe. I don't want you to get lost in the appearance and start to think like, what is wrong with my body and who I am and how I look? There's nothing wrong with you. Really focus on appearance in terms of your wardrobe. Okay. And you can think about, where do I think that I am and how well do I think I am bringing my very best to the table, right? That's really the question. How well do you think you're bringing your best to the table? If it's green, 100% yes. Yellow, you need some help. Red, mayday, mayday. And you're going to do this for your appearance, your behavior, and your communications. Okay, you're simply going to give yourself a red, yellow, or green rating. And that assessment is at least going to be a little eye-opening for you in order to understand where you need to invest some more time. Okay, so on the wardrobe tip for yourself, right? That fit, can't mistake it. You can't get around it. Okay, and like I said, it's really even deeper than just like, oh, these clothes fit me well. But when you are on that senior executive vibe and you're getting it right, like once again, how things fit on your body, but your go-to pieces, your go-to combinations. All right. Easily what are the go-to outfit combinations? Where are the go-to places I shop? Because I know I can order this piece in this size, put it on, and it's going to fit well. Or I know it's going to be great and I just need to get XYZ alteration and then the fit's going to be amazing, right? You know these things. Okay. And so when you know those go-to pieces for yourself, you're easily able to pick things out of your wardrobe. You're easily able to say, oh, I have an important presentation today. I feel the best and in my place of power when I'm wearing dresses. Okay. I love a great fit and flare A-line dress. That's my power place. Or I love a great power sheath dress. Like, oh, for me, it's always going to be that power suit with a great belt at the waist. Whatever it is for yourself, right? But when you are really steeped in your confidence with your style, you know this like the back of your hand. You don't struggle. You don't wake up in the morning and be like, I've got that big presentation today with the VIP clients. I really want to make a good impact. What should I wear? What should I wear? What should I wear? You're not panicked. You're not frantic. You're not, because everything in your wardrobe is already giving the vibe of someone who has confidence. Everything is on point, right? Yeah, it's a total time saver. You want to know what the combinations are that rock best for you, okay? And have those as your go-tos, and know that, and be able to just easily pull them, pick them out the door, right? So like, as an example, for me, like all the time when I know I'm going to do something that is really like a big important space, and I'm like, oh, I want to bring it, I want to bring it, I want to bring it, like I'm going to lean into a really dope hat. Like that is an element, an accessory that makes me feel super powerful and on point. You know, I'm typically always going to have some kind of layering piece. Like I love the structure and cuts of jackets, blazers, dusters, like that, the energy. I'd be like, oh, let's go. We ain't playing no games. Okay. So that boosts me up. And of course, y'all know the color. Like that's my place of power that gives me the confidence. And I'm like, I'll be taking no names. Okay. So know these things. So when I open up my closet, I already know. I'm like, boom, let me lean into these jackets. Excellent. What colors am I feeling? You know, what kind of impression do I want to make? Do I want to do something that's more creative and pull in some orange? Is it a power moment and I want that red? Like, do I want to give off some luxury vibes? So I want to do a great violet with some silk. Like, I know my stuff. So I know what I can call on and find in my closet to help me exude the presence that I desire, right? Like so much of this about your style and being anchored in confidence with your style is about clarity and is about knowledge. You got to be clear on what your style is, and you got to get more knowledgeable about what works for you. That's it, you know? It's simple. It's a simple concept, you know, but it can be challenging to execute, right? Especially if it's just not your wheelhouse. So you want to have a really strong foundation of understanding of what fits your body well and what your go-to pieces are. Like you can't get around it, right? And I think the other thing that you will often see in those women who are in these amazing leadership positions and you admire them is that they're very clear about what their style is. Right? This is where the clarity comes in. If you ask them to describe their style, easily, they're like, oh, you know what? I really tend to love classic silhouettes with some pops of gold. That's like my place. I really love classic sleek lines, but I just really love gold accessories. That gives me that feel of luxury and sophistication. So yeah, that's the way I would describe my style. They don't hesitate. They aren't like, oh, well, I don't know. My style's kind of changed and I don't know how to describe it. They know. They're very, very clear on it. And that contributes to them being able to know what their go-to pieces are, how they want their clothes to fit, et cetera, right? So you want to get that clarity as well, right? So really understanding, you know, even the language around how you're describing your style and how that translates into an actual look in the pieces, right? And I've shared with you all before, like that mood board and creating a mood board with inspiration from folks whose style you admire. Like that is a great reference because that helps you visually begin to understand, like, what is it that I really gravitate towards and I really feel good in, right? And I think there's often too, you want to have an alignment in what you like and what looks good on you, okay? Because there are times that you might like certain things, but sis, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. It's not doing any favors when you actually wear it, okay? It's just not. And that is just about it aligning to what your goals are with your style, what your goals are with your career, like how you want to feel, right? The presence you want to exude, all these things. So it's got to go hand in hand. And of course, your body shape and how things are fitting on you. So it's not that every single trend that gets hit is something that you're like, oh, I love this trend. I want to try this. I want to try this. I want to try this, right? It's like, hold on and pause. Like, hold on and pause. Okay. You're like, oh, sheer is a great trend this year. I want to try that. I want to do like a top with just a little bit of sheerness on my belly area. I think that's going to be dope going into office. I'm gonna be like, okay, what kind of work do you do? What kind of office environment you going into? Like, I want to make sure that people are that you are exuding the kind of that you are exuding and communicating, again, the kind of impression you desire, because you are in the driver's seat on that. So you don't want misalignment. So that sheer moment on your belly, that might be best saved for the weekend. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. That might best be saved on the weekend. And instead, if you want to get that sheer moment, go for that sheer moment on your sleeves of your blouse. Okay? You could absolutely be doing a little bit of sheer spliced in on the sleeve. Okay? Like you can find ways to implement what you like about a trend or any style. But again, I think where people and where you might be going awry is that you're not clear about what your style actually is and what looks good on you. So instead of getting inspiration and knowing how to pick and pull things, you just copy and paste. You're like, oh, I saw this outfit on this girl and I liked it, so I'm going to try it on me. Is she the same body shape as you? What's her skin tone? What's her hair color? All of those things directly impact whether or not that outfit is going to be as flattering on you as it is on her. Another piece is like, does that really and truly align with the style and the impression that you want to give? Because if you want to give that senior leadership space of influence, you need to be certain that what you're wearing is not communicating something that's not in alignment with that. Okay. And that image too, I mean, y'all already know this goes without saying. That image and that archetype of senior executive, right? That is not monolithic, right? That does not look like a classic black suit, black pumps, white blouse. It can look like that, okay? It can also look like, a multicolored oversized suit, okay? It can also look like an amazing wrap dress, okay? It can also look like oversized glasses and a great top hat. Like, it can look like so many things. But where I often see people miss the mark is, again, when it comes down to the imitation versus inspiration. Like, you really don't have an understanding of what works for you. So you're searching to try other things that work for other people. And that's where it gets into a slippery slope, because you try it and it doesn't come off. It does not come off from a place of confidence. Instead, it's like, okay, you're trying something different. Like you're trying to think. People might not be honest with you, might not keep it a buck. Okay. They're not going to necessarily be forthright in saying that that doesn't work for you. Right. So that's a really important space that you want to understand. And that's only going to come with you being super clear about who you are, your personality. When you're not in the room, what do you want people to say about you? When people meet you, how do you want them to feel? What kind of energy, what kind of vibe do you want to create around yourself and your presence, right? Like those are the things to keep in mind. Those are the things that you want to have answers to and let that guide your thoughts about what's included in your wardrobe. So, understand what chic means to you, what sophisticated means to you, what creative looks like for you, classic, feminine, like edgy, like to figure what does it mean and look like for you, because your creative is a different creative for somebody else, right? My creative is colors head to toe. Okay. And I would walk into any corporate space and crush it. Right. Color for you might simply be a red shoe. You're like, this red pump, whoo, that's it. That's that little pop that I need. Right. You have to understand what works for you, because style is personal. It is very personal. And so if it is not aligned with who you are and your personality, the translation is going to be off. Okay. And people going to be confused about what role you are, what role you're trying to get into, what promotion you're trying to have, etc. Okay. The other thing that I will share 100% in this space of just elevating, right? Like off top, we talked about like, this question about your wardrobe. Like, is it giving senior executive? Is it giving junior analyst? Like at the core of this is, what is the confidence meter? Okay. What is the confidence meter? All right. If it's on a 1 to 5, 5 being the most confident, is it given a 5 or is it given a 1? All right. Is it giving newbie and like, I don't know, because I don't have my own thoughts and my own unique perspective. And I'm just here following people and just like I just don't want to, ruffle any feathers. I'm just here to fit in. Is it giving that? Or is it giving clarity and assuredness? Is it giving something unique? Because there is a unique element here that you want to incorporate into your wardrobe. And that can come through your accessories, that could come through your beauty, that could come through the different cuts that you pick of a garment, right? The textures that you're playing with to incorporate into your pieces. There are so many different elements that you can be playing with when it comes to your wardrobe to set yourself apart. All right. And 100%, when you get to the executive level, it is about differentiating yourself. And not just at that level, but the path to it. The path to it is about differentiating yourself. So you want to think about this when it comes to your wardrobe. When you enter the junior analyst level, like everybody got on the same thing. Everybody, J. Crews, the the theories, like everybody's shopping at the same places. And they're taking things right off the rack, popping a ballet flat with it, or popping a new pump, and they're like, I'm set, right? And they've got the suit in the navy blue, in the gray, in the black. If this is your vibe, okay, great. I would still encourage you to think, how am I going to make it my own? How am I going to differentiate that from the next person who's also wearing the same thing? How do I stand out? And you want to get clear on what that is for yourself. So when you're describing your style, you want to also figure out what does that look like, not just within the clothing, but in terms of your shoes, in terms of your accessories, right? Do you like bold pieces? Do you like understated? What metals do you like? Do you like mixing metals? Do you like purchasing things on your travels? What is it? Are you minimal in your accessories? So your wardrobe is always crisp, tailored to a T. What are we talking? Right? These are the details. So you want to start to think about how you're differentiating your wardrobe from your peers if you are in the junior entry level space, because you're not fitting to mistake me for the person sitting next to me. Talking about y'all all look alike. No, that's a whole other conversation too. But in terms of wardrobe, we're not all going to be wearing the same navy blue suit, and there's no differentiation there. All right. I'm fitting to put a belt over top of my blazer. I'm fitting to add a brooch to the lapel. You're gonna get a handkerchief or a scarf. You're gonna get something else that's gonna differentiate me. Right? So you want to lean into that, lean into what's setting you apart. And then last but not least, you are going to have to invest in higher quality pieces. Yep. Right? You are going to want to start to invest in pieces of higher quality. Right? And so when you are at the junior level, I totally understand. Like, financially, you might not be making the $250,000, that some of your senior leadership peers are making, or $500,000, okay? Right? But you're working your way there. So as you are making investments in your clothing, you 100% want to be focused on pieces of great quality. All right. And so you might need to break a bad habit of just going for the lower price. Okay. Like, I don't know about y'all, but like my mama, she was fly. It still is fly. But when she was going to work, like, she was that Ross gal, right? She'd take me on Burlington Coat Factory. We'd be in Marshalls. Like, we were definitely doing discounted stores, and she come out with like dope, awesome outfits, right? So I was like, okay, cool, me too. And so I would start shopping these places, and I was like, oh, this is cool. But I'd be like, okay, I can't be buying all my pieces from here, right? I started getting introduced to other brands and other stores. And I started looking at the fabrics, and I was like, ooh, okay, this feels a little bit different. This is lasting a little bit longer, right? So you want to be able to have an eye for understanding how and what to invest in at a higher price point when it's of better quality, okay? Of better quality is really what I focus on. And oftentimes, that higher quality can come with a higher price point. So you, again, knowing the pieces that work best for you, those go-to pieces, those go-to formulas, those go-to looks that you're like, oh, when I put this on, it's popping. Those are the spaces where you want to invest in the highest quality pieces that work for your budget. All right. Okay. Dr. Michelle said, yes, tailoring gives you permission to truly own your look. It really does. It really does. It can, I don't know how many things I have gotten in larger sizes, and people are like, what you finna do with that? And I'm like, of course I have a bit of a different eye when it comes to things and being able to see a vision with an outfit or a piece. But I would easily take a super way too big jacket and be like, this is how I want it. And take it to the tailor and okay, also fun fact and tip, when you are thinking about tailoring, if you're going thrifting and you are going thrifting, definitely go to the rich and wealthy neighborhoods. All right. Go to the rich and wealthy neighborhoods. And those are the Goodwills and the Salvation Armies and the thrift shops. that in the consignment boutiques, those are the ones you want to hit. All right. Go there because they're going to have some really great quality brands that you can take a look at and be like, ooh, okay, this is something I might not be able to purchase. Like maybe you really want to get into Chanel, but you like Chanel money ain't popping right now. That's okay. All right. Hit that thrift store or that boutique in an affluent neighborhood, and you're going to get things at a very lower price, that might be more affordable for you. And then also too, whatever it is that you might find, like as you're going searching, don't be afraid to get things that are in a bigger size. But because you've gone thrifting and then the price is lower, you're going to invest the rest of those dollars in the tailor, and then you're going to get it cut to fit you. Okay. Mina. Okay. Listen, y'all, for some of y'all, if you're just joining me on my live for the first time, sometimes I use StreamYard to broadcast my live streams. And sometimes I can't always see all of the comments that pop in. So I always have my good friends like Portia letting me know what people are saying. So thank you, Portia. So Mina's saying these companies need to bring down in once a quarter. Listen, I do talks and workshops and training for these corporate entities because they need it. Like these are the things that people don't talk about. When people throw around words like executive presence and people are like, what does that mean? Especially when you're just starting in your job. You want to make a good impression. You want to do your job well. Like there's so much pressure in so many other areas. And then people are like, well, we're just not sure if you're management material because you don't have executive presence. Mind you, executive presence can be a smokescreen for other racial things. We know that. Well, some people don't, but if you didn't, now you do. If that isn't the case, and executive presence is speaking to something that really at the core is that element of confidence and conviction in how you are presenting yourself. That's what I see. Okay. And that can be a gap for a lot of people. Yes, when you walk in the room with style and grace, people seldom wonder about your competence as you exude confidence. Dr. Michelle, that's 100% on point. People talk about faking it till you make it. And these are the people who be faking it because the way they will come in with full on confidence and know absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's irritating. It's irritating because there are a few, there's a few bad apples, right, in the bunch, right? It's always the case. But for you who truly does have the competence to back up the confidence, right? It's going to sing. It's all going to make sense. It's all going to make sense. Okay. Portia is the thrift queen. Yes, the rich neighborhoods have good quality, but the style can be bland for you. I can totally see it, right? Then you want to hone in, but as a creative, I know your style is super creative, Portia. You're able to pick and pull, knowing what pieces might be something that you could flip or remix if you accessorize it or pair it with something that's already in your closet to make it work, right? That goes back to being clear about what your style is and knowing what your go-to pieces are, knowing those go-to pieces, critical clutch, all right? So listen, y'all, at the end of the day, when you're looking at your wardrobe, you are going in and you want to really be clear on where you need to start elevating things. All right. And that could look like investing in higher quality pieces, right? That can look like investing in that tailor so you have pieces that fit you well, right? And that is going to look like being super clear about what your style is and what kind of presence you want to exude so you know the go-to pieces to select and have in your wardrobe. All right. And of course, last but not least, differentiating yourself from your peers. That is one of the most important things that you can do with your wardrobe. Finding those small shifts around color, around accessorizing, around the cut, around the length, to set yourself apart from everybody else who's at that junior analyst, junior associate level, but you're trying to break away from the mold because you have your eyes set on a leadership role. Okay? You want to get laser focused on this. All right? And of course, listen, if you are hearing this and you're like, Nana, you done read me up today. Because I look just like all of my peers. I want to set myself apart, but you're not sure how to do it, even with the tips. Because here's the thing. Sometimes people can get tips and information and run with it, right? There's going to be some of you who come to my lives, you listen to this and you're like, oh, great tips. And if you are this person, I definitely want to know what tips resonated with you the most. But you take tips and information and you're like, I got this. Boom. And that's what you need to like get your wardrobe all the way together, right? Others of you get the tips and information, you go into your closet and you're like, now I know she said I need to get a tailor, and I don't know. Are these pants too tight? I think they're okay. Well, is it too long? Well, it's long when I wear them with these pants, well, these shoes, but it's not long when I wear them with the other ones. Do I go to the tailor? But you just start spiraling, frustration, right? You start getting overwhelmed. You're like, I don't even know what my style is. Child, I'm done. Like, let me just go get some ice cream. Right? Like all of that frustration and overwhelm starts setting in. If that is you, I want to invite you to book a call with me. It's a discovery call. It's about 30 minutes. And we're going to talk through what these challenges are that you're having with your wardrobe. All right. And I want to learn more about you. I want to learn more about the senior role you're going for. I want to learn more about the promotion track you're on. And I want to talk about how you want to feel in your clothes, how you want to exude that confidence with your image, right? Talk about that and share with you some ideas and recommendations on how I can help you get there. And right now, what is on the fabulous table is my signature service. It's called the Style Elevation Experience. Today is the last day to apply. And so if you have not, ma'am, book your call, fill out this brief application form, and let's have the conversation and see if the Style Elevation Experience is a good fit for you. You know, this program is specifically designed for women of color who are in leadership positions, whether they're running their own companies or they're typically in anywhere from a management to executive role. And they understand that clearly exuding boldness and authenticity in their style is a must. And that's what I help you create. You know, we work together to just transform your wardrobe so that you're not frustrated, you're not overwhelmed, you don't question what to wear, you have everything that you need. And it's simply a matter of clicking a couple of buttons to get outfits and pieces personally curated and created just for you by me. So if you're interested in learning more about the Style Elevation Experience, I'm going to drop a link in the comments. Definitely send me a DM and let me know what could be helpful for you or what you're struggling with. All right. All right, y'all. Have a fabulous rest of your day. And I will see you on next Wednesday.